Hello, I'm Sandhya Chettiar of Batch C2, and today I'll be doing a practical on Wireshark, which is an open source network scanner and monitor that allows you to take a closer look at all the traffic, even the individual packets that are passing through a particular network. So basically, Wireshark is used for analyzing packets. So if you're using Mac or Windows, then can directly go to the Wireshark's official page and download it from there. But because I'm using Kali, it's probably pre-installed. Yeah, it's installed as you can see. Or so you can also go to the terminal and type in sudo Wireshark, and here you'll be able to see this type of interface. So the first thing that we need to do is to tell Wireshark which network interface that we'd like it to listen to. So over here, see that we have all of our options that we have listed down here. So I'm just going to double click on Ethernet 0 to start, and you'll notice that a new window has popped up. And I start to see all of the traffic that's currently happening on my network. So anytime it's going to start listening, you can eventually get too much data in here in Wireshark. So once you think that you have enough information listed down and you want to take a closer look, you can just hit this red button to stop, and it will stop listening to this particular interface. So we can see that a lot of information like time that the packet was received or sent can be viewed. Here on by going on view and then on time displays format, we can also change the format of the time. Like you can see, there are a lot of options. So I'll just let the default be. So in this view, you can also look for different coloring packets. Like if you go on to this, now you can see that different packets have different colors so that you can differentiate it more easily. If I disable it, then all the color has disappeared, and if I select it again, and you can see that it's much easier to differentiate between the packages with all these colors. And if you again go on rules and go on to coloring rules, then you can see that what all different packets and protocols will have different colors. Like if you want to change, if you select any of this, you can change the color too. Like you can change the foreground as well as the background as per your convenience. So I'll just let the default be. You can also colorize all the conversation, like uh, TCP full handshake happens, then that can have one color. It depends on you. You can personalize it as you like, and you can also add coloring rule here. So that was about coloring rules. So that was time. And actually, in view, you can see that a lot of other options are available that you can enable or disable. So I'll just let that be. So that was time. And now here we can see the source, that is the IP address. And then we can see the destination. Again, the IP addresses. We can also see the protocols that was being used like ARP, TCP, DNS, etc. Then the length will tell you the length of the actual packet. Here in info, there are some information which is probably one of the more important pieces of data that we will be using to analyze. If we want to take a look at a packet a little more in depth, so let's just say if we want to take a look at this packet, this is a request that was sent from my IP address to some other particular IP address. And we can see that this is an acknowledgement packet. So when you double click it, a window like this pops up, or sometimes it is mentioned below, it comes down. So we can see that a lot of information regarding the packet is displayed here, like the frame information, Ethernet information, IP information, TCP information, and if there were more information such as HTTP information, that also would have been displayed down here. But notice that suppose we drop down this IP information, we can see some more information here. We can see the source and IP. We can see the source IP and the destination IP. But in TCP layer, we are gonna have more information since this was a TCP request. We can see source port and destination port. So obviously, this port 47828 is a temporary port on my computer, or this was probably a communication between my computer or at least something on my network interface card and a website. Then you can see, the header length and some other information down here as well. So I'll just close it. So now we'll check out different packets which follow different protocols. First, let's see what will happen if I ping a website. So I'll go on to my terminal, and let's see what will happen if I ping a website like suppose NIIT University. Okay, and I'll stop the ping. So we can see here that an echo request is going from my IP address to the university's IP, and we are also getting an echo reply back from university's IP address to ours. And it's also following ICMP protocol. ICMP is mainly used to determine whether or not data is reaching its intended destination in a timely manner. So the primary purpose of this protocol is error reporting. If there were any problem or error in the communication between my computer and the university's website, then ICMP protocol would have reported it. So now the port Wireshark is still listening to this interface. So I'll just go browse something. And I'll just visit NIIT University, and I think I'll also go to my drive and download something. Wait, I'll just do that. So I'll just download something random, and I think enough packets would have been collected by Wireshark now. So I'll just go there. I'll just pause so that Wireshark would stop listening to all the packets. Many a times this happens that a lot of unnecessary data and packets get collected by Wireshark. In a really busy network, hundreds and thousands of packets gets collected, and that sometimes can be very much overwhelming. So what we can do is to use filters. We can type in any particular protocol or any IP address or string that we are looking for in here, which will make our job a lot more easier. So now, so now we'll analyze different packets based on the protocols they follow. So the first one is packet following DNS protocol. One of the ways we can narrow down our search is to find from where the conversation began. Like, for example, if I want to analyze packets from when I visited NIIT University's website, so what we can do is, so we can do that easily by searching for DNS protocol and search. DNS protocol translates domain names into IP addresses so that browsers can load internet resources. So we can see is that for 51 where it did a standard query for for NIIT University. So that's my starting point in my conversation, and I can safely ignore all the packets before that. Now, let's explore TCP protocols. Here we can immediately see where it tried to contact NIIT University's website via three-way handshake. Here my computer first sends a SYN packet, and if the port is open, that that is, if the port is listening, and it will reply back with a SYNACK packet, letting my computer know that it is up and ready to receive any messages that my computer wants to send. And then my computer replies back with an acknowledgement packet. I also wanted to discuss a situation when my computer sends out duplicate acknowledgement packets. When data packets are not transferred successfully, then TCP will trigger duplicated acknowledgement packets, and this process can be checked as well. Now, if you look at the duplicated packets, here you can see right here, it's written in a format where you can see dup-uck with the missed packet number and then a hashtag or a sharp sign. Also, the number of duplicated ACK in terms of right here 3, 2, 3 again. If I just go a little bit above, I can see it in a similar fashion for 1 and 2. These are the numbers that show how many times this acknowledgement has been repeated. This means that you are experiencing some type of delay in packet sequence, and therefore the computer is sending out messages to check the status of data transfer. Now let's look at TLS protocol. Its full form is Transport Layer Security. It is an encryption protocol that protects internet communication. TLS handshake is a negotiation between two parties on a network such as browser and web server to establish the detail of their connection. So I see right here that it's doing a security certificate exchange. My client is sending a hello message, and it's going right here from the server side saying hello back again. So it's doing a little key exchange to make sure that we can do encryption between my computer and the website. So I think it's a pretty decent conversation. Now we can also search for particular string by typing in frame. By typing in frame contains any string. So let's just say we want all the packets containing string drive. So here frame contains drive, and I'll just search. We will obtain all the packets related to Google Drive. When my computer contacted Google Drive, or when the document was downloaded from my Google Drive, all all the packets related to that information is here. You can see that all the information is regarding Google Drive only. Any packet that has drive word drive string in it is mentioned here. And similarly, we can also obtain all the packets containing a specific IP address using this command. So if we search this, we'll get all the packets containing this particular IP address. Whether it's in the source or destination, it will be mentioned somewhere in the packet.
Another filter that we can use is my IP address and server's IP address, which was the Google Drive, and we are going to combine the command like this. In other words, right here you can see that this is where it says ip.add equals my IP address, and then joining it with Anderson another ip.add equals and the Google server's IP address. By doing that, what we are doing is that we are going to filter the packet that includes my IP address and the server's IP address, that makes us able to look at only the packets that we exchanged from my computer with the server, and now we can identify the TCP and the TLS handshake between my computer and the server. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to look at the data rate graph. Here, we can go to statistics, and then under statistics, we'll have to select IO graph. Now here, in this process, then what we are going to do is we are going to go and look into the server's IP address in the display filter tab and change the y-axis to bytes. What I mean by this is the first, for the first part, right here in the display for the filter, I'll just paste whatever that I had copied, and now in the packet, for the y-axis in the packet, instead of packet, I'll change it to bytes. Now we can check the data rate graph, which looks like this. Because we changed the y-axis option to bytes, now we can see that it's in bytes per second. This is bytes per second graph. You can save it or you can reset it, but I'll just close it. Thank you.
And now, if you want to save this information, all the packet information, then when you try to close it, it will ask you if you want to quit without saving or save it. So if you want to save all the packet information, then you can save it with any name you like. But I would like to quit without saving it.